Jimmy on the beat, boy.
Okay, boomer, whatever you say, boomer. 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 BOOMER, please, your dusty mood don't vibe with me. You are all and so therefore I must say 10 for dinosaur. Hey. Okay, boomer, whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer, whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer, whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer. Okie dokie, boomer.
Oh my God, is it that time? Are we here tonight? Hi.
We are here. Very special night.
Yeah, it is a
Monday.
very special night.
Monday.
We have the crew on tonight. We are going to get going relatively fast. I just want to introduce who we have coming on tonight. We have Linda Hawkified, our executive producer. She is on. We have Reef from INN, and we have Indie from INN. Some of the best engineers and editors out there in our circle of friends. And without further ado, I hope I'll bring them in here and we can hear them. So let's see if we can do that. They are there. Hello, everybody. Can you hear us?
I can hear
Howdy,
you.
Pam.
Testing.
Testing. Linda, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit better than I did? And then we'll go to Reef and then Indy. Just give us a rundown of what you do and what your interest is. And just go from there. Be creative like you always are.
Oh, well, I'll be brief. I'm Hawkified Linda. I do the Yum Yum on Beauty and the Boomer, and I also help Oz occasionally with other stuff. And I just like to create stuff. I like pretty colors. I like animals. I like music. I like books. I like movies. I like the Seahawks. I like the Mariners. I like all kinds of stuff. And I'm kind of tired of the world right now, like everybody else. And
All right.
that's me, basically.
Yeah, and she does like 100 times more than what she just said. She's
right.
just
I help
being
Oz out occasionally.
occasionally. Linda is in. We are going to school every Tuesday and Wednesday for a couple of hours, getting up to speed on AI, Da Vinci, on music, on engineering, on everything. So Linda was very holding back on everything she contributes to the show. I can't. It's just unbelievable how much work she puts into this, and we so appreciate you, Linda. It's
thanks,
just
Oz.
it's great having you on there.
Well, it's fun.
Reef, what do you
like-
do? What do you do? You sit around and do what? Everything?
Mainly smoke weed and avoid doing things. But no, I do production for Iron and News, for Tara Reid's show as well, and whatever else that I'm available to, put on screen for people. So,
Plus,
rough
you're
life,
a
but what we do.
wild man when it comes to tech and figuring out things and systems and graphics.
Yeah.
Once again, another shy person without putting it all out there. But Reef does a buttload of stuff. And now we've got Indy, who wears, how many hats do you wear, Indy? 15 hats, 20 hats, something like that?
Well, I'm only wearing one hat at the moment. Actually, it says TRD on it, but I'm a champion for corporate-free independent media. Whether it's my own or somebody else's. I started out amplifying everybody else that I love to watch and listen to, and decided to jump in the game and learn how to do it. Next to this guy, Reef, who now I got a countdown timer. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Co-founder of INN and the Indie Media Awards on top of it, and fiercely independent, anti-duopoly. That's it.
That's it. Well, that just sounds very minimal, too. I think if I had my way, I'd give you, all of you, 10 minutes with all the stuff that you do and all the people that you help out and have helped out in the past. It's amazing. And just a side note for me personally, I've learned so much from these two guys, and Linda on every day is just incredible. You've been a godsend as far as help to me, to the channel, to Chanda, and everything you do. We just really appreciate it. Chanda, I'm going to let you speak now because I've talked too much as usual.
I want to mention that we actually got some Indie Media Awards this year. I know Trailer Park Pundit did. So, yeah, the brothers over at Indie Media, you guys have been so supportive of everything that we're doing at Roar and Beauty and the Boomer and Trailer Park Pundit, all the different projects for years now. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for backing us up tech-wise. And that's why we're having this little conversation tonight to talk about the tech and everything that goes into engineering these shows. It's behind the scenes is so much more than you think, you know, and starting out from being on a laptop with some gaming headphones to where I am now, you know, it's taken a lot of people like yourself helping and, you know, spending patient hours walking people through, you know, engineering and setting these different streams up. And there's so much that goes into a stream. People just think you just push a button and you're live, and it's not that simple, you know, it's never that simple. So thank you guys so much. So,
Yep.
Reef, how did you get into this? I don't know. I think I came across Indie first, but I'm interested.
Yeah, I you know, we started kind of me and Indie together, learning how to do this because felt like no one else was doing it at the time. You know,
fuck it, I'll do it myself.
We're like, exactly. So you know, went through about a year or so of hardcore OBS training. You know, self-taught in that regard. And just, I've always, you know, PC gaming and stuff like that, I've always messed with it a little bit, but, you know, it's really dove head first after that. And I'm still learning that. I just had to pick up DaVinci and learn that now, too. So it's like, you know, you always continually finding new programs, new AI stuff is coming out. You got to keep up with that.
It's mind-blowing right now. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. People have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. A small audio glitch is not just the trivialest thing to fix, you know? So you're constantly pulling your hair out.
Too, right? And it's the craziest shit trying to troubleshoot it. Like, it shouldn't be doing that. I don't understand. And yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. Like you set it up and it suddenly decides to change. Go ahead.
First time I directed a live stream, you produced it, Reef produced it, and we did a 6-panel, 5-hour-long live stream using Zoom rooms, and it was one of the most complicated. It's still the most complicated live stream I've ever been involved with. I would never do it again, but we learned a ton.
No,
we did that a few times too, huh, Oz?
A little bit.
My Fitbit felt like I had ran a marathon that day, so you know. Your heart rate cannot take too many of those. So,
right? It ages.
You know, no, nice, relaxing streams. We're fine. We're good. You know, those marathon streams and just what the last one we did, Indie, was what Assange stuff. Where we were pushing the Assange coverage out during the extradition hearing recently. What 10-hour streams, something like that.
Wow, 10-hour streams. Get out the shovel. I'd be done. Yeah, that's incredible.
Well, being on the ground getting those streams out is terrible too. Like, you know, the tech problems that you're running into because you're using whatever gear you can on the fly, rechargeable. You need batteries. Like, oh my gosh, it's so much.
And it's not like you have a nice backpack or a truck to plug into or anything like that. We're all winging it out
you're
here.
Not
that phone signal
you don't have the corporate sponsors.
Never there, is it? It's never there, that Wi-Fi or nothing.
You'll have a hotspot on you. You're
frames
doing everything you can to secure the stream and get the feed up and sturdy and steady and the sound quality okay. I mean, I remember the video that I was getting out of Philly in 2016 on the ground. I mean, that's the whole reason we were there. I was there with the Media One crew for, you know, and that's our whole goal. And we constantly fought, you know, getting those streams up. So anytime you guys are seeing live streams out there, it's hard sometimes to get those streams out there. But the TikTokers seem to make it look so easy, I gotta tell you guys.
Yeah.
Well, they only got like a second or two they gotta fill.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
So how I'd like to go about this, I'd like to start with production first, and I want to get Linda in the conversation. But I want Indy, what's, when it comes to production, that's pre and post production. Can you give us a short breakdown of what goes into pre and post production, and what you're actually doing and trying to accomplish with specific things that you've run into that have been quite challenging?
Yeah, sure. Well, again, I wear several different hats. So if we're talking about Tara's show, for example, that is I'm executive producing. So no, it's not. I'm organizing 5 people we're doing it within a private group chat. We all are communicating throughout the week to know who the guest is.
Right.
Get a photo and a bio together. I put a show document together with that bio, the title, and all the links to all the streams on all the different channels. So we've got that for reference, and we can copy paste that into the streaming software when it comes time to make the streams. So it's just about staying organized, and then it's retaining all that stuff on file. And then after post, it's looking at and speaking with the getting the thumbnail done, organized, getting the stream made in time so that we can promote it, getting tweets and promotion out for the stream itself. And then once the stream is done, downloading the stream from the software or from OBS or wherever that is, making sure that gets edited and cut down into clips, and those clips get uploaded, labeled, and have, titles and playlists and all the other things that you need to do. Also going into YouTube and Rumble and making sure that they're attached to playlists and that they're labeled properly so that people can find them afterwards.
Yeah, totally.
It's just
So do you ever
a
have
few of the
issues
things I
with the
do.
time difference with Tara?
A little bit, but we work it out.
Right.
Mainly.
Right.
So
It's not too bad. I mean, 10 hours, thankfully, we're up late. So, we're usually up when she wakes up in the morning, and we're up for most of her day. And she goes to sleep probably, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And then she'll be up by 2 o'clock in the morning our time. So it fits with our schedule.
I noticed her live during the day here on, like on the West Coast. I'm like, God, it's got to be fucking 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning there. Like, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Logistics goes with
it's 9 at night.
Yeah, with engineering and production, and that's a real important part, because when you're engineering for just anybody, not Tara necessarily, but I was talking to Linda this morning about how many people I've actually engineered, whether it be a one-off or multiples or full-time, like I did for Combo Couch for about a year or so, wasn't it, Shanda, Linda?
Over a year.
Yeah, and
you were juggling all of our shows, and we were still doing the dive daily back then.
Yeah, that was brutal. So the big time thing is, I guess before we move to Linda, Indy, how much time do you put into just the production aspect of what you're doing? Not the engineering, not running the live streams, just the production.
Oh, more than I put into the engineering, I'll tell you. Probably, 3 to 4 times what I put into a show. For Tara, it's not as much, but how do we miss that?
You've got multiple.
Production.
But you have multiple shows. So when you'd say 8-10 hours, that would be for each show, right?
Not as much for Tara. She doesn't stream as often. American Tradition is only every other week. But and I'll just do some clips there.
So it adds up.
I'm constantly working on stuff. Oh yeah, I'm constantly working on stuff.
Yeah, I know Shanda's just basically doing this full time. I mean, she barely gets any time off.
I do it less full time. I get up at about 5:30. I sit down because it's not so much as the production, the pre-production that I'm doing on my show. I mean, that's time consuming. I'm probably putting 4 or 5 hours into building a slide deck. But I love the pop culture references, the memes, and the graphics. So I do that out of a love for it. But it's the having to consume everything media-wise all day long. So I'm on top of what the hell is going on, who said what, when they said it, when they did it. So I just feel like I have to consume constantly.
Yeah,
and that takes up a lot of time.
You do that. Linda, now feel free, get detailed as you wish on this. You are doing so much other than just the Yum Yums, but the yum yums are the focus that we have, and again, I agree with Chanda 1,000%. Your yum yums are a work of art and information and everything else. Can you just go down quickly your process and what kind of time you put in the yum yums, and emphasize what kinds of things and how you get the inspiration for your yum yums?
Well, I try to find something that your show's on Saturday, so I go to the date on whatever, what's coming up Saturday, find out what happened in history, and then I find inspiration there. And sadly, a lot of the time lately, it's been focused on Palestine,
Yeah.
and like every week, there's just shitloads of stuff in there throughout history. It's really depressing sometimes.
Loved this
And
week. She wished a
takes
happy
its toll.
birthday to MK Ultra.
Yeah. I mean, it's how you come at it. I mean, our show is more for, not like you and a lot of our sisters and brothers out there who are actually doing research and bringing information and news. We're trying to entertain while bringing, factual news of events and
Yeah.
things like that. So, Linda, continue. Tell us what goes
well,
into a yum yum.
It's basically, I just want to give people enough information to maybe check it out on them for themselves, and then kind of poke fun at it, make it funny if I can, or get pissed off in a funny way.
Lots of satire comes through those.
Yeah.
You're big on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes there's
love it.
swearing involved, but
I love that.
it takes me, I don't know, between rounding up all the memes and then finding music and making the avatar, because I pick a different avatar every week, and writing the script. I start with the script and then build from there. And it takes, a 2 to 3 minute clip takes about 4 or 5 hours a week.
Wow, that's impressive, and that's dedication too.
There's a lot that goes into it. There's like 5. When I go into DaVinci, there's like 5 layers in there, and
Yeah.
You guys blow
And
me
then-
away with how far you've gotten in DaVinci, because I was there when you just started together and you started school, right? Years ago. It's been years now you guys have been working on that.
Yeah, and I want to do more, but the time I'm always constrained by the time. It's a week between, and so, like, I'd never make it in the real news world because you'd have to be like, shit happens like every minute. But that's what's so cool about the Yum Yum is it's it's topical, but it's not like I don't have to adhere to current timeline really.
So
But,
in the case of the yum yums, you're saying that it takes for 2 minutes of a yum yum about 7 hours of production, right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I get that, and again, it's so appreciated. You're doing such fabulous work. Before I go to Reef on production and graphics, would you say that AI right now has helped immensely, and what we're seeing in school, is going to expedite that and make the workflow much easier on the yum yums? Do you agree with that? Did we lose you?
Oh.
Did we lose Linda? I think we lost Linda.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
Oh, there she is.
yeah, that was Linda. Linda, did you hear that question?
Oh, I thought you were not talking to me.
Yeah, I was. Before we go to Reef, on the do you think the AI is going to help you expedite your workflow with doing the yum yums?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it will, and it
Okay.
does.
Okay.
And that's I don't want to give away too many secrets though.
Yeah.
I look at your work, Linda, and I honestly, some of it blows my mind to where I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, wow, how is she doing that? You're advancing so quickly in AI. I mess
Yeah.
around with AI when I get downtime, but I still I guess I'm not prompting it well enough because I get crazy ass fucking 20 fingers all pointing the different direction.
Right.
Like my
Well, I'm
fingers.
trying
Yeah.
different ones, right? They look all
That's
it's
part
crazy.
of the time. Yeah, that's part of what
Yeah.
takes some of the time though is getting it right. You know,
Yeah,
Right.
it does. It certainly does. Reef, you're the wild man when it comes to graphics. I mean, that's just one of your one of your strengths. But how
Yep.
much time and effort, and do you think AI is aiding your ability to do
Oh,
pre and post production?
without a doubt. I mean, I've made whole show assets with just AI in, less than an hour, 2 hours. Like, it's just,
Right.
your work. If I tried to do that myself, which I could do, I have those skills to go into Photoshop and get all the assets, pay for them, and put them in, and all that stuff. But AI just spits something out that I can use and very quickly, using it for thumbnails, all sorts of stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, just to touch on the master of trades we all have to do, the amount of time, besides the actual time it takes you to do the work, the amount of time you've had to learn how to do the work that quickly is probably immense. You're constantly learning that. On top of, if you do a news show, the amount of time we're spending researching is more than the time we actually spend producing, right?
Absolutely.
Like, just soaking in the knowledge. Me and Colin spend Tuesday night or Wednesday night, pretty much, getting a show together, putting it in a deck. We've already had to make sure we had articles ready from places we trust, right?
Right.
We tend to use those Indie Media Award journalists. That useful to have that list, but we're got to go there. We got to pick something. We usually add stuff to it, videos we've had that week. It's a lot. Then I've got to prep that, get thumbnails for each of those, have those ready. Luckily, my co-host does half that workload on that, which is nice, But then it's filming it, making sure it's in OBS, goes live to multiple platforms, Then we got to download that, edit it, put those clips up. Like, you're talking one show, 1 3-hour, 1.5 hour show ends up being 3 days worth of work. Easy.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Well, and
on
we're
top of
bad
just the
about
general
editing.
plugging
We're
in.
bad about post, man.
So-
We can put so many more clips out, but who has the time? I mean, we're so busy doing all the other stuff. I don't have time to clip up
Yeah.
all the content that's being created.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I want to explain to the people in the audience here that you guys, us, and a couple other people actually do something above and beyond just to document with links to tweets and YouTube and stuff. We're producing graphics and video and things like that. We don't just click on a link and put it in the window. And a lot of those contributors doing a very good job with research and everything else, but they're using things like StreamYard, which is very limited compared to what you guys are using, which is OBS. You use OBS for everything, right, Reef?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Generally correct.
yeah,
Yep.
and I'm not dissing those people because it's a different kind of
Like-
a show. So, go
Take,
ahead.
for example, Tara's show, which with the time zone, sometimes she has to pre-record a Zoom meeting for us. I then can, instead of getting all those assets together and building it in DaVinci so that I can edit it the way that's done, I just hit play on it and go into OBS and live edit like I would if she was actually there. And then, you tweak a couple of things and then send it out. It's just easier in that regard, But
Yeah, no, I do,
Yeah,
and
I
I
mean-
see you guys' work, and you're doing something similar now. Are you using a slide deck too? I don't remember if you are or not. Are you using a slide deck?
generally, yeah.
Okay.
For me and Colin, we don't put it behind you like you normally do, but
Uh-huh. We're
you
the
definitely
floating heads. Yeah.
use it just for.
Presentation.
I like it because it makes me read the articles that we pull. For one, I have to at least skim it,
Yeah.
by putting it in there, and you generally can time stuff out better. You know how many slides are coming up.
Exactly.
You know how long
for me,
about a
yeah.
slide takes you.
Yeah.
It still doesn't mean we can't talk because we never shut up on our channel, and
Mhm.
we'll turn what was a
I know what you
15-minute
mean.
segment into an hour and a half. Yeah, well, all of us have that problem over here. So.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We're blocked in. We have bookends at 2 hours, so we can't go over. And when we do go over, it takes me, at least a half hour, 45 minutes to trim stuff out.
Cut it in half.
Yeah, we've got to cut it down to 2 hours. And I hate, because some of the stuff I take out is really good stuff, but I never take out anything like the yum-yums or anything else. Just some of the minor stories we take out to get it blocked in at 2 hours for the community television station that we go to. Now, Indie, same on production, pre-production particularly, and post. Can you explain some of the things that you focus on in production for your shows, whether it's Jesse Jet or you guys, or what kind of contributions you make to boats and when you're working with Reef?
Well, yeah, I mean that is really setting up. I run OBS and I engineer the streams for those two shows. Not only and I host while I'm engineering, so that's a challenge to be able to.
It is.
It is.
Make sure that OBS is live. Pay attention to what's going on in the live stream. Listen to everybody and kind of monitor everything from the top while making sure that the stream. And make sure that we're in the right screen in OBS because Stream Decks. Okay, I will credit Stream Deck, which is a device that is incredibly helpful. We had to convince and twist Oz's arm not only to get one but also to actually use it. I think it's sat in a box for close to a year. I'm going to call you out on that shit for that.
It was a long time. Yeah.
But Stream Decks are immensely helpful. I also have the app version, and that allows me to automate buttons that pre-type things with the enter key already, or do multi actions within OBS that'll run that'll start the whole stream. It'll make sure the mics are on and make sure that we start at this screen. It'll make sure that the levels are at a certain thing, all automatically. So I don't have to worry about that stuff when I go live, and I can focus on the things I want to focus on.
That's good.
That's just a few of the that's just a few of the pre-production things.
Chanda and I, all of us, we can appreciate what it takes to engineer and produce and everything at the same time when you're participating. I've always said to Chanda and Linda that I prefer to be the man behind the curtain, and I want them to do all of their stuff because it does take a lot. And I can't get posed where I'm looking at the camera like a lot of people because I've got 6 monitors that I'm working with when I'm doing these shows. And
exactly.
Just to program the Stream Deck to do that would be another hour and a half. So that's how I do it. But it's all about workflow. And with that being said, I'll start with you, Indy, because you didn't get as much time invested in your response. This question right here, in your opinion, which software is the best one to use for, if you're going to do highly formatted shows, and which software is the best to use if you're just going to get boxes up and do in-depth reporting on information and research that you've gathered?
Well, I've been learning on OBS. I like OBS. It's a really flexible, free, easy to use software that has a lot of plugins that you can then bulk onto it, but you need a lot of computing power to run it. So if you don't have the PC power, it becomes a real challenge to be able to stream out with OBS. We use Restream at INN, and we've got a professional version of it that allows us to go out to as many as 15 live channels, any 15 we want to go out to. There is a studio component that is very similar to StreamYard. So either one of those I'm a fan of. I've seen people use, I don't like Streamlabs. That's basically OBS on top of,
Streamlabs.
Commercial on top of OBS, right? I'm sure you're familiar, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're using vMix, and that's a complicated engineering program. Most of the streamers in our space are using StreamYard, if not OBS.
Yeah, they are.
We tried Snow Himbo, for example, who I was doing a show Nobody Wants to Work Anymore with last year. He was trying to do some gaming, and Restream was giving him a lot of problems. Last night, he plugged in a YouTube RTMP to his OBS and streamed for 3.5 hours, no problem. Mm-hmm. So what does that tell you? I mean, Sometimes it's just about a combination of connections and continuing to experiment and figure out something that works for you.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been having connectivity issues with my upload speeds, and
Right.
Oz has had that. It's bandwidth from your house. There's not much you can do about it other than yell at the cable company, which is what we've been doing.
Shanda, did you
Ugh.
freeze? Shanda, I saw you bleep, so
Is
maybe
Shanda
she's got to
frozen?
come back in. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna go to her next. Well, we'll see if she can get back in here. Yeah, she's gonna pop out and
and
come
that
back
doesn't
in.
even start. That didn't even start with DaVinci, which I also have learned at a very basic level, but just kind of sponging off of you guys to learn what you're doing. You know, I was just making some basic cuts and edits, and then it was, hey, how do I throw a little intro and outro at the end of that so that it brands INN? And then it was, how do we, add titles onto a song when I'm making a Jesse song? How do we, bring the star thing to transition and change the audio level because this part was too loud? So it was just learning from figuring out what I wanted to do with the videos, really.
Yeah, no, that's really important,
what I was
and I can't say enough about DaVinci. But Shanda, now that you're back, Indy gave us his in on OBS. Tell us what you like about. Are you back, Shanda?
I'm back. I'm just trying to get logged into everything. Am I
Okay.
back?
Yeah, but you're frozen again on the screen.
Kind of, sort of.
Something changed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you have to kill the Zoom and come back in, go
I think
right
it's
ahead.
the Zoom that's conflicting because it
Yeah,
wasn't my internet.
Yeah, just go ahead and pop out of Zoom, and we'll just have you on the main screen. Okay, let me.
You got me?
Yeah, let me see if we can get you back live into. You might have to bounce out of VMix.
I'm gonna come back into the VMix.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Reef, tell us, what you're feeling on those two questions about what's the best to use, and I think I've got a pretty good idea. And just for a straight streamer that's doing research and news reporting, what would you suggest for that?
Well, I think for a lot of people, OBS is very viable for doing basic stuff. You just want to record your screen and a camera. It doesn't take that long to set up in OBS, and even if you don't have a crazy computer, it'll still run. You'll be surprised at what people are able to run OBS for basic stuff. But between that and Restream, which also offers a free version, which lets you go out to plenty of platforms, for free, pretty much exactly like StreamYard in the way it works. I like that one. StreamYard also pretty effective generally, but OBS, if you've got the time and willing to put the effort in to take the couple minutes to learn how to use it, I think it's open source, it's free, and does a whole hell of a lot. So
That's the nice thing about that. Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shanda, can you tell me now? You have a little bit different view on this, but the vMix, before you start, the vMix is very similar to OBS.
It is very similar in the way the inputs are set up. But I've been literally in almost every streaming studio that you can be in since I started out engineering on my own. And because I am in such a small little space here in my trailer, it makes it hard for me with the green screen. So I had problems in every studio, one way or another, whether it be not having control of the green screen, too few controls. That's my problem with StreamYard. You have too few controls. You have set camera shots, and that's how wide your angles are. So my whole entire, house is in the shot, and I couldn't crop, I couldn't ratio anything. So I would move on to another studio, and then I got a Stream Deck for my birthday, and it didn't integrate in with one of the studio. I think it was Stream Deck, or maybe it did work with, but then our StreamYards. But then we have Restream because we use Restream, and a lot of these programs, they have studios. So I've been using the Restream studio for a couple of years now because I find it like a step up from StreamYards in the controls that you have and the inputs that you can put into it. It's a little bit better. But then I went into Streamlabs OBS. Oh, well, I went to OBS for like 6 months, and I loved OBS. Once you learn it, it's great. And you're right, Reef, it's open source. I trust it. The plugins are there. Anything you need to do with it, it integrates beautiful with the Stream Deck, with the Elgato
There's
Stream
so
Deck.
many things.
So
Yeah.
many things. I
And
absolutely
Elgato products
agree.
in general.
Yes, I just got an Elgato camera. I got the new face cam, and I love it because my
Face
camera was
cam?
blurring out. Yep. And
Yeah.
but so then let's see, I moved from OBS. I went back to Streamlabs OBS, and the problem with them is it's just kind of a ripoff. I mean, it's OBS, but you're paying $20 a month for some bells and whistle overlays, so you don't have to do graphics. Which shout out to Canva. Canva has changed the world. I gotta tell you.
Oh my God.
Without Canva,
Oh,
I
hell
don't know where
yeah.
I'd be. And
Oh
now we're in the
boy,
VMix.
every
and I love the
thumbnail.
VMix. Yeah, every thumbnail. Thank you, Canva. Right? You can just scroll YouTube
Yeah.
and see
And then-
Canva.
Like I started, like Fee asked me to make an intro. I made a lot of that in Canva. I brought like videos and
My
clips
intro,
into
I made my
different
intro in
templates,
Canva.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
the Indie Media Award stuff is in Canva. Pretty much
No,
everything.
it's
Just
way
amazing program.
it's way cool. And with that, I'm glad you guys brought that up because Linda is a Canva fiend.
Yeah,
Can
I've
you,
learned so
Linda,
much from
tell
Linda
us
and Canva.
tell us about what you love about Canva? Can you do that?
Oh wow. Yeah, everything. It's just
Everything.
it's
Everything.
aptly named. It's a
Yeah.
canvas. You can do anything on it practically, and there's more and more and more. And they've got AI now, and you can you can integrate it with anything. Just about.
Yeah, I quit using my Adobe Photoshop, because
I do all of it. I do it all in Canva now. Remove the background, crop it, change the color. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Layers was a big thing. They needed to add layers so that you
Layers.
could get to
Layers
a
was the
specific
biggest.
layer.
Layers changed my life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
in Canva because that's the only reason why I was still using Photoshop for the most part.
Yep.
Was I could go to each I still have to use it occasionally, right? But like now it's I find myself using it a lot less. Like I think making individual assets in Photoshop to then use in Canva is where it's best suited. You could do more with Photoshop. It's got crazy amounts of add-ons and bells and whistles to do to images.
Right.
GIMP also very good at that. If people want to mess with GIMP, which is the free version of Photoshop, still not as many bells and whistles as Photoshop, but Canva now with layers is practically the same. I would say it's still got about 70% of the way to go to be the same, but for getting something out quick and dirty that's good enough, that's I forget who said it. It's one of the Star Wars production guys that was like, perfect is the enemy of good enough, right? Like, our job is production. We have to produce to timescales. We have to
Quickly.
be able to get it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
So, and if you can't,
Quickly.
so all those things that help those workflows, going into Canva, getting it done, getting it on a thing, like the faster I can do that, the better. So,
Linda, how
Somebody quickly as Oz. Oz gets challenged to make things quickly on the fly. I know pretty often. So
Pasta.
Yeah.
Pasta's the worst at it.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna call anybody out.
No, he
I'll
knows.
find out.
He knows. I tell him. I kid him. Oh, so when do you need the thumbnail by? In 5 minutes. And so
5 minutes, yeah.
it's actually been good for me because it has honed my skills on getting. I mean, when you have that pressure and you have to get something out for a show in X amount of time, you make sure that you get it out at that time. And my thing is I under promise and overproduce. That's how I go about things. I tried my best to rise above the expectations for any work I do, whether it's Convo or our shows or anybody else's show that I happen to be doing work for at the time. Linda, have you've made thumbnails for the Yum Yum? How fast after you've got the concept? How long does it take for you to make a really nice thumbnail for your Yum Yums?
Those actually don't take very long because with Canva, I can just right-click on a photo and just immediately paste it into the page. I don't have to download anything. It's super fast. And And I've used it long enough. I know where everything is, and I can just whoop right through it.
That's a big thing. Having the
It is.
knowledge. Yeah.
It's user friendly. I mean,
Yeah. The interface is great. Yeah.
I'm old enough to where this stuff is kind of challenging for me.
So-
And it's easy to use for me.
I think
I
we're
think.
all in agreement that we would recommend Canva. And, like Reef
Yes.
says, Photoshop, absolutely, we use Photoshop Elements because I'm not about to pay another monthly fee to Adobe
Yeah.
or these
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
outfits. Because right now with AI, we're getting nickel and
over
dime to
here.
death because
Yeah.
if you pay for all these apps, all of a sudden
yeah.
you went from $12 a month to $150. And it's like, whoa, you just can't.
How much do we pay for Reface every year? Like, yeah, and we've got to have those ones.
Reface, Reface is the best deepfake program out there. Period. I will challenge anybody, and I will even put it up against the current AI that's available. But there's AI
agree.
coming that is
I
good.
agree.
But it's $35 a year for Reface, and that's
Oh,
cheap.
it's gonna go up because it's getting so good. You guys taught me about ShareX, but frickin' what is it, iGar or something? Frickin' iGar took it over, and now it sucks. It's so goddamn glitchy and buggy. Like there's ads constantly.
It
in
still
it,
works
and
for me.
Mine locks
I don't
up
have
I
ads.
haven't
constantly.
noticed.
Oh, mine. Yeah.
Yeah,
When
I mean, I
now when I right click a picture, a copy, to do a screenshot, I save it. It wants to send out a website address, iMarg whatever.
Oh.
.com.
Oh,
Imager.
Imager.
I can
yeah.
help you with that.
Oh, thank
Okay,
you, 'cause
Imager
it's such a pain in the
Fix that.
ass.
Is Reddit's image hosting thing that Reddit needed for a while, right? Then Reddit
Right.
now
I've
hosts its
seen
own
it
images,
before,
but
yeah.
Imager was the thing
Okay, it's Imager.
beforehand, right?
Yeah.
We can turn that off in ShareX so that it never
Yeah.
goes to Imager. It's just
Sounds
forwarded
like-
to
By the way,
Imager.
it's also wait a minute, stop. It's
Little
also still
things
saved
like
on
that
your hard
slow
drive.
you down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
saving
It's
on my
saved on
hard
your
drive.
hard
I know.
drive.
I know it is. And which is
Okay.
good because it
have
locks
to
up
go to
so
that
many
folder
times. I
and
have to
find
go to my folder and find the image and recopy it because I just end up with, writing. So
Sounds
that
like
slows me down during
I'll show
production, so
you
at
the
least
easy
Yeah.
ways to do that.
that'll help.
Yeah, you guys need to have a good session some afternoon where you
Yeah,
can
we do.
cover these things just to fix some of the little stuff that's annoying because
Little
Shanda
shit that slow
uses
me down. It's like a hurdle.
Yeah.
It's like I'm running and I have to jump over something. Like, oh, here's a problem.
Yeah, well you got
No,
multiple
yeah, I
hurdles
couldn't
this
do-
morning. So yeah, you got nailed today.
I think
so.
Oh yeah, I did.
ShareX itself is one of the best programs. It's one of
I
the
love
first
it.
programs I download
Yeah.
to a computer. Like it's definitely that if you don't know what settings to set up, I didn't
I
even
would
think
love
about
to
that.
learn how to
as
do
a thing.
video screen recordings. I have never put the time in learning how to do the screen capture.
Yeah,
on
for
that,
like
but I would
GIF
love to.
recording or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of stuff. The biggest thing I do is just a custom region screenshot, right? And like I have a button on my mouse where I press it, I can
You and your
immediately pull
magic
stuff
mouse
up.
again.
I love it. Who doesn't want more buttons? Tell me. So for me, I also can do quick edits to that photo, right? If I want to just erase out text, put text back in, put an arrow in somewhere, and then capture the screenshot. Very nice.
Oh damn! I
Very
am so
useful.
not using ShareX to its full potential. I definitely.
Yeah, you're not.
I will
yeah.
show you the ways. 'Cause once you get there, it's like, oh, perfect.
Bring me into that little tutorial, Reef, because I don't even use it at all. So I use other stuff.
I've never got
Yes, sir.
into using
That's
ShareX.
great.
So,
Yeah,
that
It's a great
and-
little program.
Yeah.
It's a great little program.
I
It's
would
the
like
best
to.
screenshot program out there.
Yeah, I want to get
So-
more into the tech. Well, God, it's already been 45 minutes. Feels like 15. You guys, one of the big questions that streamers and potential streamers ask is, what, in your opinion, is the best way, the challenge of growing your reach and expanding your audience? Live streamers need to effectively market and promote their content across social media channels to attract new viewers. And it seems like we're knocked down in the algorithm because of who we are and what we do. But you guys are going
Yep,
for more reach and stuff. What are you doing to combat this challenge? And Indy, I'm going to let you start with that one.
It's hard. Setting up social media profiles everywhere, engaging, networking, going on other people's shows, doing shows like this, following. Look, I started as somebody that was watching streams and in chats. So a lot of my audience and our audience still comes from those chats because it was people that we've been hanging out with. And it's people who are in this chat, from animaires to Kill Your Egregores and Retro Gamer and all these folks, Golden Monarch and Denver, everybody for the last 4 or 5 years. That's a lot of our core audience and the people who watch us. Now, getting beyond those people is really hard. Asking people to share, that's the biggest thing. We don't pay for reach. I don't pay to advertise. I don't pay to boost streams. I don't pay to boost video clips. If I started doing that, we've got hundreds to thousands of videos. I mean, that's just, I don't want, look, on top of the fact that I don't want to continue to promote it on top of it. Shit, I spend half my day promoting it, going to different Facebook pages and groups and Instagram, and making vertical videos to put up on TikTok and Reels and posting on Twitter into different DM threads, YouTube posts in squares, Facebook page, Facebook group. It never ends. Facebook profile, it never stops.
Yeah, it's a crying shame that you can't grow enough to get monetized to the point where it makes it, it helps you. I mean, it's just a battle, and it's a shame because you guys and others out there, you guys are working your ass off 10 times more than some of these other platforms that are just huge. And, some of them are suspect, and some of them we understand why, and their emphasis is on the research and cogent opinion that is backed up by factual, good qualified research that they have. I have no bones against that. Our thing at Beauty and the Boomer and Roar and things is to inform. So we don't look at the growth numbers as much as the learning and the artistic value and the ability to provide a place where we can entertain and inform and engage when we can, and we'd like to engage even more. But Reef, do you feel the same way about growing and monetizing? What do you have a particular idea? And then I'll shoot over to Linda and ask her.
I mean, well, the meetings with the Illuminati we're doing are only going so well.
That's not you guys. That's somebody else. Yeah.
Right. We haven't quite put enough blood to the blood god there. Apparently, we're suppressed like everyone else is talking about any real issues. So that's a whole factor. We try to get around that as much as possible. We're demonetized on YouTube. That's a whole thing. I'm still not even sure if we actually are or aren't. It's just decided to take it away.
You're just in fucking limbo. You can't talk to anybody. You don't get a straight answer.
Yep. We had a content strike. I don't even know how long ago that was. Months and months ago.
After October 7th, I can tell you when.
October 7th.
We have some copyright strikes that weren't affecting, that were already on the channel before then, that are about to go away, hopefully soon. But there's it just says we're not eligible for YouTube monetization, and it's not giving us any reasons or things to make us eligible like it did at the beginning of our YouTube, venture. But so we decided, well, fuck it. We're going to have to do something else anyway if we want to make any money doing this. We went to Ko-fi, we've got Patreon, we're on Rumble, we're on Rockfin. We'd love to see you at all those places, because that's what we're told is when YouTube censors is go to these other places. We're there. We don't see you there. We're there every show.
Do you think cutting down the size of your shows, like clips, but a little bit more to where you can actually get at least one topic out that's like 15, 20 minutes or even 30 minutes might help that? Or is that,
I think we definitely try to stick to,
I do that.
The longest thing we do is probably an hour per segment, and that's
you clip it up. Yeah, you do that. You do it in post though, but I'm talking about live. Have you done that in live? Yeah.
We definitely tried to keep our stuff, it's just we talk too much and have too much to say most of the time. But I definitely am conscious of time when in regards to segments like that, I'd like to get out 15 minutes. But, if you had someone the problem is time to. You almost need 2 editors per show. The person going through getting short content.
Yeah.
And and doing that, and which means they have to watch the content to understand what's worth clipping up in that regard. Which that's where you as an audience, since you're watching anyway, YouTube has a little clip feature. I see it on the page right now. It'll give you a minute. Send it to us. You know, if you thought that was a good minute, clip it, send it. We'll take it. You know?
No, that's good.
That kind of stuff is where clearly YouTube's algorithm is going. You know, we've even used AI clippers to clip up stuff for that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You know, Opus Clip is pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know, it's expensive and monthly subscription.
All expensive.
Yeah,
all
it's
all
expensive. We're not crying, and we definitely don't beg for money like some of the other outlets do. And when I say beg, I want to elucidate the fact that we are not out to make a living at this. We are out to have a little fun, to take the stress and the pressures off what we're seeing in this madness of a world we have right now, off of us and you. So that's kind of the benefit that we're seeing, and that's what we set out to do, was to engage, inform, have a little fun, and relax, because if we didn't have this outlet to relieve some of the pressures and stress that we're encountering, you know, oh my God, inflation, just anything.
But I like to eat, so go ahead and donate, please.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I want to be clear. We do need support, and we've gotten moments of some really good support, but it's an ongoing thing that we want everybody to do. And one of the things that we do, and I think you guys do too, is we don't just say support us. We say support our friends and family in independent media that deserve your support. It's not all about Chanda and Oz or Linda or Amber. It's about supporting us as a family, because in the end of all things, we're going to have to come together. We're going to have to speak to people on the other side of an issue, because it's all rigged against us. And with that, Linda, do you have any idea on how we can possibly, together help each other to get more monetization and to take some of the pressure off of what we do?
Yeah, well, that's hard part, right? The monetization, because you have to be so careful about what you say anymore. I have no idea how to tackle that. But as far as, the shows, I think there's a lot of shows going on at the same time, and some are, it's like if people were could recognize more, I don't know, just be more cognizant of who else is streaming right now,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of
schedule. Yes,
scheduling.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice, because I hate when we stomp on each other and all we're doing is thinning the herd, and so I try to stick to my dedicated time slot that I've been in for years,
And there's a lot of people just have a show, just like they'll just say, I need to talk right now. And it's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Can you until your regular
You're
show?
doing yourself a disservice when you go live at the same time as Jimmy, where is everybody?
I would say, and you guys might object to this opinion, but, there's like wealth disparity, there is following disparity. Now, some of these big shows, they can swing it and get it out there anytime they want. The Jimmy Dores or the even, the Kim Iversons, the Sabby Sabs, and some of these other shows that have grown to double and triple digits as far as, their followings and stuff. But I'm talking about our little group of independent media people who are cognizant of everybody else's times and things like this, because I never thought that it would even be able to get people to kind of, hey guys, take it easy. We're kind of adopting these time slots, and we know that we're not going to have any weight on anybody else doing their time differently, but us, just that thoughtfulness about, hey, Beauty and the Boomer or INN or Misty or somebody's on, let's cut them a little slack and watch their show, some of the shows.
If I'm writing, I'm listening to whoever I
Yeah.
is live.
And we
Or if I can, I'll give
Yeah.
them a listen. I'll put it up on a screen and
sure,
just
and give them a
turn it
shout
down.
out too. Yeah.
So that
Let
way
it
they're
run.
getting a view. Yeah, I let a
Mm.
lot of shows just run
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
people are getting views.
And you know, like,
Yeah.
well, here's a good example, guys. You know, this is true. This is a true good example. Like Warren, he has his show on Saturday night. Well, he could have it earlier, but he waits till we're done before he kicks his show off. So I'm going to credit that kind of mentality and Warren for doing that. We appreciate that. And as far as advertising everybody else on shows, you know, of course, we're a Convo Couch family, so we push them all the time, but we at least shout these shows out, and you guys do
Yeah.
too. You're very good at that, and we do
great
appreciate
about
that.
it.
It's
Yes.
it's just what we do as a community, trying to work together. And I'm not talking about being nicey nice and everything else, because we do get conflicts among us each other. But Shanda and I and
Yeah.
Linda have made that decision. We are not going to get into these petty wars of drama, and you know, when you disagree with somebody because they do something or say something that's usually taken out of context most of the time. And you guys are really good about not clout chasing these drama things that are going on from some of the other bigger channels too, and that's a better use of your time, in
Yeah.
my opinion. So Shanda, you know, do you have any ideas about monetizing other than what we've talked about here, or did we get it all covered, or what do you think?
I don't, we're trying every avenue out there. I mean, we keep encountering so many obstacles, right? I mean, demonetization, and then you have censorship of your content, and
That's
then
huge. Yeah.
and then you had these platforms that started pulling your money and access to your money, like PayPal and GoFundMe. And so we've encountered so many, and it's intentional. They don't want our voices heard. We're
Oh
out
no.
there is spreading truth, pointing the hypocrisy of the empire out, and that's the last thing they want. So they'll bend us over and they'll take our money. I mean, that's YouTube has jerked us around for so many years when it comes to monetization. And I pay them so I can have YouTube Premium, so we don't have to watch commercials during the show. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, God damn, I'm
Right.
paying them, and I give them 2.5 hours of content 3 times a fucking week for free. Like, that blows my mind. And so, yeah, I mean, we've tried every avenue. Really, it's mutual aid. It's going to come from building our communities and from our loyal, amazing supporters that come in and watch these shows, that support these, us as independent contributors. That's the only way we're going to make it, because we can't depend on the state to keep us alive when we're talking shit about the state at the end of the day.
No, and we do not monetize anything on our shows. The only thing that we possibly get from YouTube are a percentage of the super
Small.
chats.
A
And small percentage of the super chats, and we do appreciate it. And that's why we encourage our sisters and brothers to use other apps other than YouTube super chats, and use the tools. And Indy, both of you guys might be able to tell us how to get a tool to where we're alerted immediately, and we can show these chats on screen instead of relying on YouTube super chats all the time, because it's a huge chunk they take out of that. And, it's really wrong, in my opinion, because YouTube can monetize any of our stuff. Like Shanda said, we're giving it to them for free. And the thing that keeps us down is that we don't monetize on YouTube. So they just throw us in the cellar and say, okay, you're not going to monetize with us. We're not going to make any real money off you anyway. So we're really going to stomp you down. And, that's what we do. And plus, we don't pick sides, red, blue, whatever. We pick the people and we pick the issues, and we have our opinions, whether we disagree or not. But they don't like that. And Shanda brought up, and I'll finish with this. Shanda, you brought up a good point the other day. Our show and other shows that are very well formatted, a little rough sometimes, but they're really formatted. This scares the shit out of these people, because when you can make
our
that
production level.
Yeah, the production level, they're worried, like you guys are doing a hell of a good production level, that you have, if not your production currently, but future productions. You've got the stuff to produce stuff that's competitive dangerous to the mass media propaganda machine with the tools that we're getting through AI and upscaling and all this stuff. So that's what I think is part of it that's going on. Did you guys have a topic that you wanted to discuss, Indie, Reef? Because I've asked a bunch of questions. It's time for you to ask some questions or pose some points that you'd like to make.
My soapbox.
how well do-
go ahead, Rich.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to
My
ask.
soapbox is Substack.
How well do?
Oh.
Yes. But how well do guests and whatnot communicate with you when they're trying to get shows done?
Oh, thank
Come
you.
on, that kind
I
of
like
stuff.
this one. Yeah.
You know, because I don't know what it is in this space, but no one's good at communication. I don't know if your parents didn't hug you enough, but
I know.
like, is it that hard to send me a message day before something? You know, like, let me know. I don't care if you tell me no. Tell me no. I don't care. Like, I'm just trying to get stuff done, you know, but just tell me. Communicate. It's
Communication.
very simple stuff.
Yeah, and you bring that point up, and Indy, I'll let you chime here, but that point is well, and everybody here knows that I've engineered for multiple shows, multiple streamers and stuff, and communication is the most difficult thing. That being said, the people that I have engineered for, almost all of them, have been very thoughtful, and they understand they have these issues. But I understand that they're under the gun and they've got pressure trying to do their stuff too. So I work with them. But it's the little tiny things when you have an engineer, whether you're paying them or not, that respect, you've got to be on point, thinking about that all the time. I need to respect my crew that's helping me get this production live stream out a little bit more, that focus, because I engineered for somebody in particular. They will go on nameless, and I would engineer, and that person would get some pretty high profile guests in there. I would never get introduced to these guests in the green room, and I found that insulting and humiliating that this person could not even introduce their engineer for 1 second, one line. And I made a promise to myself from now on, when I engineer, I'm going to make that perfectly clear as one of the house rules is, and I didn't have to do that with Fee and Pasta or, you know, some of the other people, but there was one in particular that really hurt my feelings, and it really put me off of engineering. So thoughtfulness and communication to me is one of the highest best things you can do.
They could show up 5-10 minutes early too. That'd be nice.
Yeah, the timing. Yeah, that's the
Give
thing.
us time in the green room. Don't show up 5 minutes after we go live.
Yeah.
We need time to check your
Yeah,
audio.
just-
and
yeah,
your
yeah.
camera.
Yeah, and
Come
this
on
is engineer specific. It's not for somebody that engineers their own stream. We don't care about that. But when you have an engineer, and
again, I like not having guests.
Well, that's
honestly, I used to do an interview show, and notice I haven't done an interview show in a year and a half. The last time I had somebody even on, how do we miss that? Besides Reef, was Chris Legion last summer. I love having people on. I love talking with people. I much rather be a guest on somebody else's show. To have that conversation. I'll go on with JB. I'll go hang out with Kit on Hardlands.
Yeah.
It's just the logistics of getting other people on and everything else, getting them to show up on time and do the sound checks and everything else. It's a lot of stress. And it's setting, and not only that, it's setting up completely different screens in OBS because it's different window captures. Then you have to set up
like with StreamYard,
and half the time
you send
they don't
people a
show.
link.
And then it's like,
right.
Yeah, honestly,
with OBS, we've got to build it.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
My soapbox is Substack, and that's the positivity, and that's where I've actually seen real growth, real connection, meeting new people in completely different media and completely different types of media. People who do poetry, people who do photography mostly, and they put out different newsletters. And Substack is kind of like the newsletter hangout. People who make newsletters hang out there. They have their own little social media platform called Notes.
Substack newsletter near you.
Oh God, Rachel Maddow, get her.
Yes,
out
I'm
of
gonna
here.
get trolled about that.
Sean in the
I
chat
get
wants to know
trolled
how
about
we
it.
deal with. Sean in the chat wants to know how we deal with farts. Like, I never see anyone fart or gag. They just has to be bad farts.
Yeah, we'll let the View do that. That's their job.
Yeah, that's the poo. That's the poo's job.
The View job. Now,
but-
what are,
we
go ahead,
all
Eddie.
know they
I have a
cut
Yeti.
that
I have a
audio
mute
out.
button right on my Yeti. So yeah, if I
Yeah.
really have to fart bad, I mean, I've got a mute button right in front of me, and I'm not even on camera. So
Right, I got
Well,
it.
and I'm by myself. So
Yeah. Yeah, Chanda and Linda get to hear me complain. And I just want to ask you both, Linda, and I try and be professional on camera and off camera. And the frustration that you sometimes get working with some of the people you're engineering for kind of bleeds through. And I cry to Linda and Chanda about it. But I think that do you Chanda, Linda, do you think I maintain my decorum even when I'm off screen and don't trash the people that I actually engineer for, unless in that one case? Otherwise, is that, am I okay, or do I need to improve on that?
I think you always, you usually have to tell me when you're mad. It's like you'll have to say, "Oh, I'm mad," and because you're very even keeled and you don't usually blow up. So yeah, I think you maintain pretty good. I don't.
I'm trying. Yeah, I want to make a point of this. That's why I'm posing this question. What do you think, Chanda?
You're my best friend. Of course I know when you're pissed off and there's steam pouring out your ears. I can see you on screen and know there's steam pouring out your ears. But yes, you always handle yourself very professional.
We
But
don't.
yeah, we bitch behind the scenes, and that's why if sometimes you could be in the green room, it would be a better show than the actual show, because some of the shit that gets said in the green room is hilarious.
You're so true, and that's kind of
Yeah.
my point. If you try and maintain your decorum and stay calm off camera, it translates to on camera, because if you can't off camera, then you're not going to have a good show. So try and be as professional as you can off camera, but everybody's going to have a bad day, and we all have had bad days, and it's not necessary, because I appreciate the work that a lot of these people have engineered, and even the one that I'm unhappy with, I appreciate some of the work. And I always will. But working with people in virtual areas is just as important and has the same housekeeping rules as working with them in real life.
Yeah.
And just because you're hiding behind a monitor doesn't mean you should change the person you are. So that's my advice on that. And I appreciate you guys, going on that. Was there other things that you wanted to point out, Indie, Reef?
I'm just surprised Oz keeps it together without the copious amounts of weed like the rest of us.
I wish I could.
Right?
I wish I could. I can't. It has a negative effect or an opposite effect on me.
He's got Joey's
I don't know,
dandelion tea.
Yeah, dandelion tea.
Nice, that works. I'd be giving you some flowers in that too, but just to see if it works or not. But no, I think I find
You think
decorum
I haven't
slightly
tried to
overrated.
get Oz weed? I've tried to get him to eat it. I've
One
tried
of
to
these
get him
days-
to roll it on him. I'm always sitting.
I've had it. I've had it.
There's suppositories, Oz. We can go with that now.
That's it. That's it. I need some suppositories. Thanks, Reef. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep,
That'd be great.
I mean, me and Indy yell at each other constantly to make sure things work, and I don't think we can get our work done any other way.
Well,
so
I've been
remove
there.
Those filters.
Yeah,
and
I've been there when there's been some
we can
friction.
say sorry.
Yeah, friction.
We know
Yeah.
how to do that.
Yeah, you're human.
So,
you're human, and I've witnessed that. And
Yeah.
we've only had one meeting where we got together where we kind of all got riled at each other, but we came back, we healed up. But that's human.
I remember hearing about that meeting.
That's human nature, when you do that, and that's part of being human. Indy, do you have anything you'd like to point out to everybody in the chat as far as that goes? This line of thinking.
Well, again, professionality. The way that I always saw, I was always told about reputation is it can take you 10 years to build one up and 10 seconds to destroy it. So I'm always cognizant of that. And I don't look, I've spent 4+ years every single day gathering news, aggregating news, sharing news. I've built what I don't take myself too seriously, but at the same time, I spend a lot of time and it's away from my family, and this is what I've decided to do with my time, and I don't not take it seriously. So, you know, and the topics that I'm talking about is serious, and getting it right matters. And people always say, look, you need decaf and you need to chill out. And it's like, why aren't you fucking angry? What's the matter with you guys? And why aren't you doing all you can to fight the fucking machine like I am? Like, I don't get it. I've got this fire, and from the minute I wake up till the minute I go to bed, and I sleep about 5-6 hours a night. Everyone's like, how do you sleep? I can't sleep. Like, once I fall asleep, I pass out, and I'm out cold till I wake up. But I run till I can't keep my eyes open anymore every single day, 7 days a week. And I got kids, and it drives my wife crazy. And I sacrifice all kinds of stuff because this is what I enjoy doing this. I kill myself for this.
Yeah.
You know, I need to be doing more work and making money stuff that I wish I could be doing with this.
Too.
But
well,
capitalism's a thing. I forgot.
Yeah, don't lose your humanity.
Capitalism sucks. We all live in that. No, humanity. I mean, you can't lose your humanity watching people die on Twitter every single day for 6 months. I mean, it doesn't desensitize you.
No.
If you know that's their goal, but you can't let it, and you have to let it. Yeah. Well, no, and I'm just I got that fire. And today they show the ones with the bulldozing and
bulldozer. I shared that. Oh my god, I know.
How do you not see that and flip your shit? Like, I don't know.
Shanda and I were talking about this the other day. Is that, you know, Beauty and the Boomer sets out to be humorous and uplifting, but we've been buzzkill ever since. It's been getting worse month by month.
October 7th. It's just been...
It's you know, it was bad enough with Ukraine, but you know,
the evil robots sent to kill us is hard to make jokes about. No,
I mean,
we're like nihilists every day.
Shanda did something special last week or the week before.
We believe in nothing.
Is she put it into perspective for me on how we have to roll. She's accepting it. She accepted it. What's happening? It's what it is, and we're gonna get emotional about it, and we're gonna talk about it. And the minute things get better,
there's a problem is the first step.
Yeah, we're going to try and switch it so it's better. But that's just a no-win situation when we've got that. And what we've done is we put the heavy stuff at the front of the show, and the people that make it through that to the full show, then we take, we stop towards the end of the show. It gets a lot more light and everything else.
Lighten
and
then,
yeah, we lighten up. And that seems to work for our chats. And one of the things that we do on our show, and I don't see anybody else doing this, we usually give a wrench to everybody that comes in there, especially the ones who have been with us forever. I mean, if they don't, everybody gets a wrench. That's what I say, real democracy. And I know you guys probably, like everybody else, well, you're taking a big chance with that. Well, we can fix it after the show, but we let the people police each other because that's how a good democracy should work. And if you're not adult enough or you got a problem where you can't, we'll take care of it. But we would prefer to have everybody have at least that status coming into the room. And it is a status to have a wrench because it shows them their worth, not only with everything that they contribute in the chat, but it gives them that extra little, say, hey, we enjoy this, we like being here, we're part of this movement or this show going forward. And that's what we would recommend to anybody that feels comfortable. But we can only do that because we have such a limited number of people that watch us on the regular. And that's why I said, Shanda, in the beginning, we got to put up the velvet rope when we get to 100 because we can't let anybody else in here because we wouldn't have that intimacy with our chat the way we do.
YouTube's still in our followers. We'll never
so YouTube's taking care of that issue with us. So, Linda, did you want to add anything before we move on here?
No, not really. Other than I just think it's amazing that what all you guys do. I mean, you guys do engineering on top of what I do, and I don't know how any of you ever get out of your chair. Honestly, it's time consuming. Right? It's and to not and you're so good at what you do, and to not be compensated is just it's a crime. It really is. Honestly.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about Indie and Reef and INN, Colin, everybody
Yeah,
over there.
that's what I'm saying.
You
Yeah.
know,
Love Colin.
it's
Shout out
it's
to
a
Colin. Send my
it's a
love.
shame. Yeah, Colin, I follow Colin
Yeah.
around all day on Twitter too, because when he says something,
I do
he's so
too.
right on. It's just really good stuff. But again, that's what you're in store for when you
Yep.
do this. You can either go the corporate way and kiss the ring and whatever. And I'm not saying Kim Iverson necessarily, or Jimmy Dore or anything kisses anybody's ring or ass or otherwise. But you do have some of our sisters and brothers that repackage already news stories, which helps. It's great for content, and a lot of people want to hear their opinion. But it's always nice to see some of us out here bringing fresh and different stories, news stories, than what's trending that day. I think
Hard
Reef,
mix.
it's hard to do because there's some stories you just have to
Yeah.
say something about. But Reef turned me on to his sources for news stories through Reddit and some other places that really helps
Right,
a
that's
lot.
where the Trumpers hang out.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But Shanda's really good about bringing alternative stories too, because we don't want to be buzzkill through the whole show. And I got to shout out to you, Shanda. You just kill it with Trailer Park Pundit. You are real. You connect with the people. Every show you come on, you're not phony. There's nothing phony about you, and we do appreciate that too. And your chatters are reflecting that because they come to see you. They're loyal. They want to hear what you have to say, and you represent demographics that other people don't even shout out to, and
I
we
hope
appreciate
so, 'cause
that.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm here to do. I started out with a recovering opiate addict who decided Bernie Sanders needed some supporters, and I hit the ground running. And here I am. I mean, it's been a crazy, almost 10-year journey for me through the Democratic Party. Learning
Yeah.
our elections, and then moving on from there. And I being inside that machine for as many years as I was an elected PCO for like 8 years. The only place I
Sorry.
could see where I could actually make
Yeah.
a difference was in independent media, because I felt like all day long I ran into people who were regurgitating bullshit that they were told by the state media. And how do we break this? Like, well, what are you listening to? Where do you go? And I'm writing lists down, like, check these out. And even the ones that we followed even back then, say 7, 8 years ago, like Democracy Now! And shit, they're gone. Tom Hartman. I mean, we lost a lot of them along the way. It
Yeah,
seems like.
Yeah.
Shit libs.
Yeah,
Big
they
on.
really they bit the apple or got poisoned or whatever, TDS, whatever you want to
We're
say.
in necessity.
And I used to have great respect for the likes of Tom Hartman and people like that, but now I'd have a hard time pulling over if I saw him laying on the side of the street. That's how bad it is.
Reich. I got
Yeah,
one.
Robert Reich, are you kidding me? I mean, they're
Oh.
crazy.
The third, Robert the Third, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's it's horrendous. What kinds of things have you guys encountered through all the time that you've been live streaming and stuff, that have been particularly challenged? And I'm thinking of the sense of not working with or not policing your chat or anything else, but stories that are hard to report on, that kind of thing. Is there anything you can think of that comes to mind that's difficult for you guys?
Recently, Bushnell, that was tough. That was a tough.
That's a great
thing to
example,
do.
Reef. Yeah, Aaron Bushnell.
Yeah.
That's
That was tough,
really
yeah,
that's
you're
really
right.
hard.
And I really had to ask myself, because I was live that morning. It was Monday morning, and I get a big show Monday morning. Bigger than
Yeah.
the rest of the shows. And so I'm like, shit, do I run it? Do I run it? And then, you just have that pit in your stomach, but you're like, I'm here to bear fucking witness. If I don't run it, people don't see it. So I made the decision to run it, and I thought I'd get a lot of pushback, but actually I got a lot of people thanking me for running it.
Yeah,
for,
you didn't blur it
telling
out.
this story.
It was the
I
raw
didn't blur
footage.
it out. I showed the raw footage, and yeah. So it's tough sometimes to make that call. Like, do I do it? Do I talk about it? Do I show it?
Indy, I know that you're very
We
sensitive
all
to
talked about it.
seeing all the babies and the women and children buried in Ukraine and in Gaza. I know that really hurts you, but can you
Yeah.
describe a little bit more on what it's doing to you as far as your emotional challenges and how it may be affecting your personal life? Would you be willing to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, I mean, look, we all have news feeds all day that are full of, now they're not as full anymore because they've murdered all the journalists that were taking the videos. Hey, how about that?
True.
Yeah,
But
that's
early in
that's-
October,
Yeah.
November, December, January, you had an hourly stream basically of new footage of just the most horrible, devastating destruction that you can't even imagine yourself or your own family having to experience. And the minute you try to exert any kind of empathy, it just starts to break you. I mean, it especially when they start using your own personal religion as their justification for doing it.
Amen.
There's nothing more gross than that.
Yeah.
And then using that as
Yeah.
a crutch and an excuse when it's all about control, land ownership, hegemony, the oil and gas underneath, building a canal, wiping out an entire group of people who they originally took the land from. I mean, there's so much that goes into all of this, and it didn't start October 7th, and it's the arguing with the douchebag paid assholes on Twitter, and now they've found their way onto Substack notes even and everywhere, and it's dealing with that as much as, and that kind of denialism and the accusation of being, you're a Hamas supporter. Wait, so now these people don't even have the right armed resistance? I thought that was in the UN charter that
Bro,
these are officially, look, it's arguing with robots, and it's arguing with people that can't be argued with and can't be reasoned with, and it takes a toll on your mental health. It takes a toll on your family life, because it's hard to just put that stuff down.
Yeah,
And I
think
see
that-
my kids and I hug them, but at the same time I also get overly stressed and I'm incredibly short-tempered at the same time.
That's what
it
I'm
does
trying
not
to
help my
allude to.
patience.
It's that's what I'm alluding to is, we're human beings first and foremost, and the kind of content that you and Chanda and Linda and I and our sisters and brothers in the independent media and actual independent media, that we have to take in all this negativity, this shit sandwich of horror every day. It takes a special kind of patience and understanding and thoughtfulness to even digest that shit, much less report on it
Man,
or offer to manage it and have an opinion on it. So again, I appreciate anybody that can do that in this day and age, because once we do that, we've just passed around all that poison and that negative energy to our chats and to consume. But that being said, I'll tell you something. I am willing to take a polygraph as far as, this disinformation horseshit and the censorship that they're trying to perpetrate. They're attacking us now with censorship and controlling independent media. I'll take a polygraph on anything that I say, anytime, anywhere. I can't afford it, and if I could, I would pay for the polygraph and
The
do it
FBI will give it
live.
to you for free.
I would do it live online in front of a camera, and I can't think of anything that I have ever even bent it a little bit as far as lying to my chats, to you guys, to anybody else. And I think you and Reef, long time ago when we met, you kind of got that vibe off me, because I am not a no bullshit kind of a person, and that's the kind of people I want to be surrounded with, and that's why I'm so lucky to have Amber, Chanda, and Linda in my circle over here as well. And I know you guys feel the same way with Colin and some of the people over at INN. So can you speak to that, working with the
Jesse.
people within your group over there?
well, it's very nice to have people that actually get it. Super useful. Like, we don't have to argue most of the time over ideas and whatnot. What to engage with, we sometimes argue with, but we all came from the trenches and are more than willing to choose violence occasionally, and we all have to resist that urge.
Yeah,
a lot
sure
of
you
times.
are. Yeah.
So, but I think I know we couldn't make it through all these stories without them. Luckily, a lot of us have that same gallows humor. Very useful, these days.
It is.
So, like, there's only two things I look for when traumatic shit happens. Where's the funny? What's happening? I still need understanding. So, both of those things important. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I know Indy
Oh.
wants us to have lots to say on this. So.
Yeah, Andy, let's hear it, brother.
Well, looking at my desktop every day, my desktop has the INN active member. I got pictures of their heads. I look at every day, all day. You know, this is my adopted, my chosen family here. These are people that have made content because I liked watching their content, and I feel like we vibed, and I want to help them, and I feel like we can help each other, and we bring a lot to the table, and we make each other better. I've got skills that I can help them with marketing and organization and getting things together. Go ahead.
How did the Wu-Tang put it? An iron sharpens iron. Is that what we're going with? You know? Is that
something
it?
like that? You know?
Going back to the Wu? All right.
You know, we need someone that brings it all together kind of and is the central hub, and I try to be that in a lot of ways, in getting everyone on the same page with regard to, you know, using Canva or using Restream or, you know, relying on certain avenues to try to get help, to try to make things more consistent, to see who's got the most skills and spread it around also. And everybody, what I love is everybody makes their own stuff. Everybody's perfectly skilled to be independent, which is what we all are.
Yeah, that's hybriding that's hybriding your show, your network, and that's kind of the goal we all have. And continue. I'm sorry I interrupted.
I mean, again, look, we produced 6 live streams last week. We did 8 the week before, 9 the week before that. Plus, we got dozens of clips going out between all the shows. There's a ton of production happening, a lot of moving parts. People are taking breaks. People are active. Some people are going on shows and doing appearances, and it's keeping track of all of that and trying to wrangle all of it so that it kind of looks cohesive and like it's all coming from one central place. It's hard. But it's a labor of love. I love doing it because I love these people, the content they put out. You know, I got to give a shout out to my brother Angel Rivera. He had never turned on a live stream before he got to INN. He did one upload, and now he's doing his 50th episode of Angel in the Afternoon. He's doing a second wrestling show that he found with someone in the Hardlands chat, Miss Witchy Perfect, and they're working on their 10th show already, their 10th episode. I'm so proud. Like, this is great. This is the kind of stuff I wanted to help facilitate, was to get the independent streamers that I know have a great voice, aren't really, maybe need a little bit of help with regard to getting online or getting assets or getting whatever it is, trained up on how to use the software or access to a premium version of that, which we have at the network available to all of our members. We've got to support each other, and you know, sharing resources, I think, is one of the biggest things, and sharing knowledge is one of the big things. Like every day, 7 days a week, we're in here sharing knowledge. Reese sending me something about OBS or something about DaVinci or something about this. We're constantly pushing and trying to learn new stuff.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm getting at for this show tonight. Everything that goes into engineering, podcast, you know, where you know it meets where chaos meets comedy. There's plenty of chaos, you know, due to technical and personality and, you know, having to timeline, everything, the whole structure of it. But I can't say enough. I agree with you, Indie and Reef. You know, working with people, you're planting those seeds, and it gives me great gratification to watch people evolve from not knowing how to turn on a computer to where you are in this day and age. And if we can help, and a lot of our chatters have helped other people, Chanda, Linda and I, grow and become better, and that's what we want to do. So I guess I think we covered most of it tonight that I wanted to get to. Really have enjoyed this conversation. I'm hoping we can have more, but lastly, I wanted to talk about content sharing. I think that we should share our content around to other platforms, and not the live streams, but if you have, like, Shanda's got a show, maybe she'd be inclined to say, hey, INN, would you like to take my show?
Park Pundit can go wherever.
Yeah, put it in a block over on your show. You know, let's fill this up, because if you share the content, and we're not inclined to do that.
Don't give any more work to do.
Yeah. we're not.
He
Well,
likes
yeah,
having more work to do.
yeah,
Don't-
but
don't
we're
do
not.
that. Don't give him what he wants.
Our format, we're not. We started out trying to be a network, Roar Media Network, but we're not doing that anymore. But you guys seem to be doing a successful job of growing, and we would be more than
What we
happy
wanted to do.
to share our content with you for you to use or not use. And I recommend other people
Anytime.
who would like to have that, because it kind of goes back to the old thing about reruns from television. If you rerun stuff and it's still timely then today, you're helping build a network up. And how many of these shows like Me TV started out with like the Andy Griffith Show and Stargate and stuff like
how about-
that.
TYT. I know we hate them, but
Oh,
their
yeah.
model was working for a while.
Yeah,
You know, they
Yeah,
had
but
multiple
on a loop.
shows, multiple
They still have a
creators.
20
yeah.
They
It
still
was
have
looping all
They have a
day.
24-hour loop channel. They still
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, no,
they
you're
have
right.
one on like
Yeah.
Pluto or wherever. But let me
And-
tell you, first
Yeah.
of all, we've done
You're
that. We've tried to do the 24-hour, the multiple loop thing, and I also loop stream clips. So Restream allows me to loop stream clips, so I can run it 10 times in a row, back to back to back. So that makes a stream longer. They allow you to do playlists to make longer streams. I made an 11.5-hour stream in
Well, and with
OBS the other night for the
Rumble
Assange
rating
stuff.
coming.
You know?
Well, yeah,
That's
yeah.
rating on
Makes a
Rumble?
big difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be nice when we can rate on Rumble.
I'm sure that Linda wouldn't
But, like-
mind. Linda, would you like Indy, if he wanted to run your Yum Yums over there? They'd be a great 2-minute intro into
Oh,
stuff in
that's
between their
great.
shows. What do you think? Would you be interested, Linda?
Yeah, if he wants
Yeah.
to, sure.
Yeah, we're, no pressure, Indy, but
Great
there's
content.
there's
Go
gra-
look at it,
gaps
Indy. You'll
between
like
your
it.
shows. You might want to program them in, but that's just an offer. But that people in our chat are fully capable of doing productions on their own, and they could send
A
you those
lot.
productions,
Yeah.
and you guys could integrate those in. And as organized as you are, Indy, you could program this in and have keep growing your network bigger and bigger and creating more energy and excitement around that. And whatever's holding you back, I think that might be one way you can break that that cycle of getting pushed down so much. I don't know. Is that a suggestion you'd consider?
I mean, certainly I consider it. I think one of the things that's hurting INN specifically is that we don't have a 5 to 7 day a week network streamer, or even 4 days a week, where it's more than 1 day a week that they're doing a live stream. It's much harder to build an audience that way than if you're streaming a couple times a week. I see what Kit is doing at Hardlands. I see what Savvy is doing. I see what RBN is doing, and Do Dissidents. The channels that are really taking off, they're connecting host with an audience on multiple days a week. We're not really doing, but look, we can certainly be an outlet for a variety of people, for people to come and watch good content for a bunch of different people, like most other networks that they're familiar with, comfortable with, and used to, unlike the independent channels. But it's non-corporate for a variety, which doesn't really exist. And that's one of the things that was exciting to me about INN in the first place, was to build something that didn't exist in the model of an RBN, in the model of what it was an MCSC network that sadly doesn't really exist anymore, but a group of independents working together as a family.
Yeah, and
I've been on the ground for so many groups trying it, for all the way back to Pip, and the problem is so many times egos get in the way, and that's a part of what we do, right? You got to have a little ego to get out here and put your opinion out to the world. And it's nice to see that there is some of us that are truly holding on to that, that vision.
Yeah.
Kumbaya,
I think it helps
look,
to
I
have some
support
leadership.
Misty.
Yep.
And
Like
Hardlands,
leadership
and
that
look,
has
it's
had
not just
leadership
even
roles
INN
before.
people. Yep.
Know how to work with people. Like, dealing with egos, you're going to do in any business. Like, so it's kind of par for the course. You just kind of got to work with what you got. There's plenty of tools for that too. So luckily Pop's a, psychology major, so that helps. I've got enough brain books on the wall to know how people do shit. So
Well, I think
You
that you
know,
guys should keep
but
talking about this. I really, with the way things are going and censorship and everything else, it would behoove all of us and everybody in the chat who is capable or wants to learn how to do a production, even if you did one a month, just we could talk about getting it over there because
pre-record it even.
record.
Don't even need to do stuff live.
Don't do a live stream. Just make a pre-production and then shoot it over and load it up. I mean, if you can do that without any great expectations put on it, and if it passes some housekeeping rules, so the channel that INN wouldn't get in trouble for, I'm sure they consider it. But that's why I say I think inviting you guys to, if you want any of our content, particularly the Yum Yums and Trailer Park Pundit and some of the crazy, stupid stuff I do, I'd be more than happy for you guys to run it over there. And housekeeping is, put your logo on the stuff, because INN is not going to erase your logo or take it out or not give you due credit for it. And
I love to give people credit. If I'm working with them, I put their logo everywhere.
I mean, what the hell? What's the
Right.
problem? You don't type this stuff. But anyway, I'm going to give you guys the last word before we get out of here. We've ran pretty much close to 90 minutes, and it's gone by particularly fast for me. I don't know about you guys. It's been great. So, Reef, how about last word from you, and then we'll jump over to Linda, and then Indy and Chanda and I, and we'll sign out, okay?
Yep. Well, easy to find stuff for us, indienews.network. You can find all our shows. INN Wednesday for me, and Sunday nights, How Do We Miss That? And Boats, which, people not like having the brain bleach at the end of the week. So tune in for that. But otherwise, at Reef Freeland on Twitter, go to that. We're almost at 2K, Indy? We're almost at 1.9, I think. A couple more subs. So if you haven't
You guys
gone
are
sub,
doing
go do
great.
that.
Pushing 1900.
Yeah, you're doing great.
So,
You're doing great.
Yep. But yeah, that's it for me. So,
Linda, what do you got? Last word from Linda.
I just want to say how fun this has been. I've learned a lot, and I've also been like in the dark a lot because I'm not an engineer. But I'm in awe of what you guys do. It's I've seen Oz enough have to troubleshoot stuff and sound especially.
Audio is Satan.
ugh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Audio is Satan.
Yeah,
And
it is.
it's just I can't believe you guys do what you do. It's crazy sometimes. But
You're doing spectacular work, Linda. You keep going. You're going to be the graphics artist extraordinaire. Like Shanda's going to be the expert on VMix here real soon. So we appreciate everybody's skill set on this stuff. Indy, what do you got?
Well, what I got is support independent media because we need it more than ever. I sign off my show with that, and I truly believe it. And I spend all of my days amplifying, finding good independent media creators, finding stories that aren't necessarily being covered by all the other algorithm folks. I'm not trying to chase that. I want to try to bring different stuff. That's why we call the show How Do We Miss That? It's because we don't want to talk about what everybody else talked about during the week. We want to at least bring it from a different angle. And we bring independent writers, journalists. We focus on independence. We don't bring CNN. We try really hard not to bring any corporate media to our shows because we want to feature independence as well as being independent, because that's what we do. We're not feeding that corporate beast. So How Do We Miss That? Sunday nights. We've got American Tradition with Jesse Jett is every other Tuesday night. And then now recently every Friday night, I've been running like a clip show, like a greatest hits of Jesse stuff. So you can tune in 10:30 Friday nights, all on INN, Indie News Network. Also, you see IndieMediaToday.com. That's my Substack. I put out clips. And that's the other thing is we all need email newsletters. And that's my email newsletter. I've got over 1,700 people there. And every time I send out an email, it goes out to 1,700 inboxes.
Wow.
YouTube algorithm suppresses us, and Rumble only a certain percentage, and Facebook only a small percentage of your audience sees it. But when you have an email list of that size and you're getting those clips out, and I literally email out, I upload my video native to Substack, and they go there and they can watch the clips right there. I mean, that's incredibly powerful. And I encourage everybody to build out an email newsletter and start building a mailing list of your own so that you don't have to rely on the algorithms to build your audience and to build your fan base.
No, I appreciate that, and I get your emails every day, Indy. I mean, you're right in there with Rumble. I get so many emails from you. So everybody, we really appreciate that. Chanda and I are going to stick around and say goodbye to everybody. But thank you, Linda. Thank you, Reef. Thank you, Indy. It's been a pleasure, as I
Thanks,
knew it
guys.
would. And we might do this again sometime. And just thank you so much. So you guys have a great evening, and we will see
Here,
you
thank
out
Thank
there.
you.
And here we go. Shanda, last word.
Oh man, I'm tired. I've already, I was up early this morning fighting my show, so I feel a little rum dummy. I'm so tired, but that was a great conversation. I always have so much fun talking to all three of them. I grade, I learned so much from each one of them. Linda, every time I come in the green room with you guys, I'm always picking up tips from her. I mean, she's taught me so much in Canva, and Indie and Reef. Yeah, they've turned me on to so many different things that I use, and I appreciate, what they're doing, the vision that they have for bringing independent media kind of under one umbrella, not meaning that we all subscribe to one thing, but that, hey, this is one place that you can go and you can find all these independent people. So that's what it's about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, I've seen Shanda like this before. In the green room trying to get this stuff going, and it's like so I can relate, and that's
I'm
part of
tested, I'm screaming.
yeah
Yeah, this morning
yeah
there was a lot of curse words dropped. But hey,
yeah
I went live on time, and that is because of the patience and time that so many, especially you, have taken to teach me the basics about engineering, how to do inputs, how to do, casting, all these important, intricate things that have to be woven into a good stream for you, the audience, to be able to see all the bells and whistles and, the extra screenshots and the slide decks. And so thank you. I can't thank you guys enough. Everybody who's taken their time and energy and put it into me. So I managed to work my way through all of those bumps this morning, and I launched on time.
yes, you did. And I just want to humbly thank everybody that watched our show tonight. And I hope you got something out of it. But if you have any questions about any of this stuff, tech wise or live streaming, you can get a hold of Reef and Indy over there at INN Media. You can get a hold of Shanda or Amber or Linda or myself, Roar Media Live at gmail.com. And we will get those messages.
Government.
And you've got a show Wednesday, and right, and then
Yeah, I got it right.
and then it's Beauty and the Boomer on Saturday night again. We got some great music on Saturday night. We're going out with some Bon Jovi this week. So if there's any Bon Jovi
Living on a
fan,
prayer. I am living on a prayer lately. It's very fitting.
yeah, it has. So good night, everybody. Thank you for hanging out, and we hope to see you out there. Have a great evening.